I saw this bag on the shelf. It was on the shelf in a little inset and it literally called my name from across the boutique. Hello there, welcome back. Thank you so much for joining me and welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. It's great to have you here. So today I have a fun video that is completely inspired, a copy of Caitlin Pawlowski's video, which I will link down below in the description box. So Caitlin put out a video recently on what her luxury collection would look like if she had never been on Instagram or YouTube or hadn't been consuming luxury influencers. Caitlin's been doing a bit of self-reflection on her channel recently about influencers and how much that she may have been influenced, and I just thought that it was a really fun video to take a look at your collection and see what would have been in my collection if I had never watched YouTube or Instagram. So I thought I would share that with you today. I haven't really been even watching YouTube or known about luxury YouTube for maybe as long as some others, so it's still quite sizable. Yeah, I was surprised when I looked at it. It probably is still quite sizable, which I think shows us that I am bad enough when left to my own devices, and I really don't need any more influence on me because, yeah, when I'm left to my own, I can do enough damage to my bank balance by myself. Number one is my Louis Vuitton Neverfull, which is completely destroyed. This is the first luxury bag of any of the luxury bags that I have that I ever bought. I bought that over 10 years ago now. It is completely destroyed. I had saw it on a colleague in work, absolutely loved it. I thought it was the peak of designer accessories. I thought it was amazing. I loved the monogram. I just completely and utterly fell for it. So when I was able to, that is what I bought for myself, and that was definitely not definitely not influenced by Instagram or YouTube. I don't even know did they exist back then? I don't know. Okay, next one that was not influenced at all is this. If you have watched my channel for a while, you will know what influenced this purchase. I am obsessed, absolutely addicted and obsessed to this colour. When it comes to this colour, I have absolutely zero self-control. I just can't resist it. I will buy things in this colour that are just because they're this colour. I even found the other night when I'm colouring in with my son that I will use this colour on his colouring ins, and it's an obsession, and I'm sure there's something deep and meaningful there if I was minded to explore it, but I'm obsessed with this colour. So this bag, my husband and I were in Manchester quite a few years ago, and we went into Louis Vuitton. I like to call in, you know, for a little look, wherever I am in the world, if they have luxury boutiques. And this was sitting on the shelf in Louis Vuitton, and I instantly fell for it because of the colour. I am very impulsive. I've talked about this before. I can be quite impulsive with my shopping habits, and that's not a good thing, but at least I have accepted it, and I saw this on the shelf and that was that. It was just the colour. I remember the day, hadn't really planned on a big purchase, hadn't really planned on a handbag purchase, but when I saw the colour, and it was quite small. I think at that point I was getting to grips with the fact that I prefer smaller bags and starting to realise that instead of always buying the bigger one. And this was not staying in Manchester Louis Vuitton. This was coming home with me. Now, fast forward and you will have seen this little beauty in my least used bags video, but that is another story for another day. But yeah, okay, next. I'm going to do this one next. Now, I did buy this from Lux Lover on Instagram, so I did buy this from a Instagram luxury reseller, but it wasn't influenced from seeing it on Instagram. I had saw this bag in Chanel in Dublin when it came out. This is from the 18B collection. That's the turquoise teal colour from that collection in the Chevron Caviar. And we had been in Dublin, Chanel, I'd been with my husband, and we had saw this bag and I absolutely fell in love with the colour. Now they didn't have the mini in Dublin, it was the medium, but I just fell in love with it. I absolutely fell head over heels for it, but we just didn't have the money. And had I been on my own, I probably would have pushed my boundaries a little more to see if I could afford it. Well, I couldn't afford it, but see if I could physically pay for it. I probably would have explored that a little more. But I was with my husband and he was just saying no. We had planned for the year after a huge amount of work on our house and we were saving for that. And we were talking about having another baby and he was just like, we can't afford it. We just can't not afford that with the amount of work that's going to be done on the house and we just can't afford it. So it got put back on the shelf. Was I good about it? I can't even remember. But it was right. You know, do not stretch yourself for these things. But as I say, I am impulsive. So it got put back on the shelf. I did phone Dublin a little bit while after to see if they still had it. Just to see. Yeah. They didn't, thankfully, because again, on my own, not sure that I could be trusted. Yeah, not sure, but they didn't have it. So after that, whenever time moved on and I would have been in a position to purchase it, I started to stock this colour and really tried to track this bag down. We were in New York after that and I asked them, but you know, the sales assistant gave me that derisory laugh. You know, oh, Chanel colours, you can't be thinking you'll still get them. They move on so quickly, and it was one of those types of sales assistants that isn't so lovely. But I eventually tracked it down on Instagram with Luxe Lover and I absolutely love it. And I'm glad actually that I got the mini rather than the medium, because I think the mini in this colour is amazing and I probably use the mini more than I would have used the medium. But yeah, so wasn't influenced, that definitely was love at first sight whenever we walked into the Chanel boutique. The next one in my collection that was not influenced by any influencer other than my own crazy self was this one, and I love it. This I love. See the black and white monogram and the limited edition monogram on the handle. I love this bag. Loves it. I've had this bag now for a few years, maybe 3 or 4. And when I had first got this, the first couple of years of having this bag, I used it to death. I wore it all the time. There is a little bit of colour transfer on it from denim at the back because I just wore it. I didn't even think about that. I just wore it. This bag, I was on holiday with my friends in Spain and again was not meant to be purchasing Louis Vuitton handbag type prices. Absolutely not. Was absolutely not meant to be doing it. And we had walked past the Louis Vuitton the night before and it had been closed. I'd looked in the window and thankfully there was nothing in the window that completely drove me nuts. And then we went in the next day and she was there. She was there and like, what can I say? It was a match made in heaven. It was meant to be. One of my best friends who was with me said that I literally put this bag on and danced around the shop and would not take it off. And I physically had the money to buy it, but had not planned on such a purchase. And again, there goes the impulsiveness. And hadn't really, you know, set aside for this type of purchase, but I saw it and I loved it and I just had to have it and I don't regret it, not one bit. I get to say that because I was in the lucky position that the purchase of this didn't do too much damage to other financial responsibilities, but I don't regret it because I absolutely love it and I still love it and I still wear it. Maybe not just as much as I did then because I probably over wore it, if that's even such a thing. But yeah, definitely not influenced by any crazy influencer but myself. Next, okay, this one. The Chanel medium classic flap. Like, she's just a stunner. There's just something about if you're, you know, a crazy bag lady like me, there is just something about the Chanel classic flap. It's kind of just like, I don't even know how to explain it. It was like a holy grail for me. It was like a bag to reach, and I didn't have a Chanel classic flap for a very long time once I started collecting handbags or being interested in handbags. And this one, and I've said this before in other videos, I set myself a certain professional goal, and I always had said that if I reached that goal and if I was able to achieve that, that I would buy myself the classic Chanel black flap bag for achieving that, and that would mark that goal. And that is how I did buy this. So this was not influenced at all by social media. This was an obsession that was on my brain constantly for a long, long time before that. Even so much so that I attached it to this particular professional achievement and goal. And this is what I rewarded myself with. And I'm so glad that I have it, because these prices just keep going up and up and up. I think it's a stunning bag. It's a classic bag. And yeah, I'm very glad that I have it. I'm going to do the next one is kind of like a half. Is that such a thing? This is like a half influenced Instagram, YouTube, half influenced, and it's this little baby. And the reason I'm doing this next is when I was in London for work. I was in London for work when I went into the boutique and bought this one for that particular achievement. And when I went into the boutique in London, they had a mini rectangle tweed bag that I absolutely fell head over heels in love with. Now, it wasn't this one. It was, I think I have seen it on Instagram since, it was a white and pink mix of tweed, and it had a light leather through the chain. And I put it on and it was absolutely stunning. It was a beautiful, beautiful just mix of tweed. And in that moment, I fell in love with Chanel tweed, and I decided in that moment that I really wanted to add a Chanel tweed bag to my collection. And by that point, the reason I didn't buy that one is I was buying that classic flap, and I just didn't have the funds to buy the classic flap and the mini tweed. I just couldn't put that amount of money into 2 Chanel bags on that day. No. No. So I waited then. I had always then said, right, well, I know I really want the Chanel tweed, and I knew then that I wanted it in the rectangle mini, and I waited for the releases to keep coming out until the tweed came that I absolutely adored and just couldn't say no to. And then this came out, and I've put it as a half because I saw this particular tweed on social media, and that's what made me go for this particular tweed. But the bag itself, a tweed mini, was not influenced by social media, but this particular tweed one, to buy this tweed was. So it's a kind of half and half, but I love it. Like, look at that up close. Look at those little Chanel look at those little Chanel ribbons that go through there. It's absolutely stunning. So this, I don't regret buying this at all. I know that a couple of people have said that it's maybe, you know, collector piece, or that it is a fabric, it's tweed, so you have to be more careful with it, and it won't be just as easily to wear all of the time, although I have worn this quite a bit. But I don't regret it. I absolutely love it, and it's one that I don't think I could see going anywhere from my collection. Alrighty then. The next one that is my non-Instagram, YouTube influenced handbag collection is this one, and this is my Chanel boy bag. This is actually the first Chanel bag I ever bought. I was in London with my husband, and do you remember we were talking about being impulsive earlier on? I was in London with my husband. I went into Chanel to buy a pair of the ballet flats. That's specifically what I went in for. Had been upstairs, bought the ballet flats, love of my life, thought it was all wonderful, came downstairs, and my husband was saying to me, are you taking a look at the bags? And this was a few years ago, I'd said to him, no, they're beautiful, can't afford a Chanel bag, don't have money, can't be spending that money on a Chanel bag, and walked around the boutique, and there was all the classics, which are stunning and which I love, but then I saw this. At the time, I didn't even know what a Chanel boy bag was. I didn't know what a classic flap was. I didn't know anything about them. I didn't know that this was a limited edition. I didn't know they normally don't have a handle. Didn't know anything about it. Just saw this bag on the shelf. It was on the shelf in a little inset, and it literally called my name from across the boutique. It was like, buy me! Bring me home! I want to live in Ireland! And it really just grabbed me at that moment, and I asked to see it. The sales assistant wasn't brilliant, did get a bit of the vibes off them of thinking, can you really afford this bag? But I asked to see it, and I put it on, walked around in it. I do remember saying to my husband, is it a little short on me crossbody? But I just loved it. It was so different. There was just something about it that was so different that I had to have it. So this was actually my first, and I know this wouldn't be many people's first Chanel bags, but this was my first one, and completely not influenced, but completely down to my own absolute impulsivity whenever I just, like that, just on impulse, no thought, no planning, just like that. And I'm not saying that's a good thing. I'm just saying that's probably my personality with lots of things. Okay, the next one, if I untangle the strap, is this. This is the Louis Vuitton Capucines in the mini size, and this particular one was not influenced by social media at all. Now you can see the beautiful, beautiful magenta colour one there in the background. The bag itself, I had this one already and I love this size of it and love the bag, but I saw that come out on social media, that colourway, so I have to accept that it was social media that showed me that colourway. But as soon as I saw it, I was like, yeah, that's I'm in love with that. But same with this one. So I had been in Dublin, Louis Vuitton in Dublin, and I had been talking to my sales assistant, and they actually had, it was the one, if you watched my unboxing of this, I had two and I had to decide between them, and they had the mini in the one, the black with the red, I think it was wasn't it a red flap, and the strap was black and red, and I put it on, and it's on me in a couple of my vlogs because I kept going in to Dublin and trying it on. I had it on a few times and I absolutely loved it, and I couldn't get over the mini size of it. Then when I was chatting to my SA and we were looking at them, she showed me this one as well, and she said, I just want to show you this because I think with the plexiglass and the colour and the blue, I think it's something that you would be interested in and you need to make the right decision on these, and she showed me this. So I ended up buying the black and red, and she ordered this one in so as that we had both of them at the same time, and then I had to choose between them, and as soon as I saw this with this, it's just that little bit of difference to it, and I absolutely adored it. Tried it on in the store, loved it. It was going nowhere. If I had lots of endless money, I probably would have bought both of them, but I don't have lots of endless money, and it would have been silly because they're both mainly black, but sometimes I do silly things. Have we got that yet? Yeah. So this one was all of my own doing. Saw the black and red, then this one, and decided, yeah, I have to have one of those, and I do love the mini size. The mini size in the Capucines for me is a game changer. I always did love the Capucines in the BB size, but anytime I tried it on, because I wear bags crossbody quite a lot, I felt it was just that little bit too big, and carrying it I felt it was that little bit too formal. The BB or the mini has just changed that for me. It's just made it so much more accessible for my sort of style, I think, and the way that I wear bags. So we've made it to the last bag in my handbag collection that was not social media influenced, and surprisingly it is this one. And I know that if you haven't heard this story before, I know you're probably going to be thinking, alright, are you serious? That bag was all over social media and everybody wanted it and it had to be from social media. It actually genuinely wasn't, and I can tell you why. When I did first see this on the runway and in the advertising shots and then coming up on social media, I actually didn't really like it. And I said this when I unboxed it. When I watched it in those videos or those pictures, I was kind of like, yeah, it's okay, but you know, it's not, I'm not going to run out to buy it. It's not screaming my name and saying you must own me. Talk about eating your words. Look at those colours. So no, on social media, no, I hadn't even put my name down for it. It was just not really grabbing me from the shots. Then I was in with my fabulous SA in Chanel in Dublin, and we were chatting and looking at other things, and this was presented to me in its box like a newborn and opened up, and the person stood back and was like, let me show you this. Well, they knew me better than I did. Let me show you this. I looked at it and I was just, my best friend was with me and we both went, there was a sharp intake of breath at how stunning this bag is. Yes, look after your designer goods. Don't drop your designer goods. Don't throw them on the floor. Do that far too often. She didn't fall. This is one of those bags that I have to say that you need to see in person. if you're lucky enough to be able to see it in person or near a boutique. It's absolutely stunning. It didn't blow me away in the photographs. It didn't blow me away even on the runway, but when I saw it in person, when it was presented to me as my new child, I just absolutely fell in love. And I was lucky that the one they had for me had a pretty good mix of colours all over it. And it's just, I think it's just stunning now. But I know that probably sounds strange because these were so much on social media, but no, I wasn't buying it when I saw it on social media, and then I saw it in person, and yeah, just shows you, well, maybe it shows me that I should stay out of boutiques because I'm bad enough on social media, and then you add in my impulsivity and my love of all things shiny and bright and colourful. There you go, that is my designer handbag collection had it not been for social media influence. I hope this has been fun and enjoyable and entertaining. I hope you're well. Thank you so much for joining me. Please take care, stay safe, keep your family safe, and I will see you again in the next one.